Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today on episode 2 of 20 Somethings. I'm Tico, and I'm a 20 something teenager who just wants to heal his inner child and do the best he can with the life he has. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm not saying I know anything either. I'm just here to yap, to get some things off my chest, and hopefully process some trauma along the way. Just a disclaimer, whatever views and opinions expressed are solely my own and don't reflect the views and opinions of any corporate entity I'm affiliated with. So if I say anything problematic, I apologize in advance. I'm just a baby. Of course, my thoughts and opinions and worldviews are going to evolve with time and the more experience and encounters I have. But for now, I just ask that you show me some grace as I share my truth and contemplate God under the chemtrails over the country club. Anyway, surprise, bitch. Bet you thought you saw the last of me. The last episode I recorded was in 2021. Can you believe that? We're still in the middle of the pandemic, which, surprise, surprise, was another thing trying to kill me. And everyone else, of course, not to make light of a serious situation because it's devastating to think of all the people who died from COVID. But yeah, it's crazy to think it's been 3 years since then. And so much has happened since. Like, when I say life has been trying to kill me, I'm being literal. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. I think that life's actually been plotting and scheming to annihilate me. Just completely destroy me. Because sometimes when I think about all the shit I've been through and had to deal with since then, whether it's losing relationships, be they personal, professional, platonic, romantic, or just being denied certain business or travel opportunities or getting rejected or ghosted by people. It's like, damn, can I live? Can I live? Give a bitch a break, oh my god. Like, thinking back to everything that's happened from that point 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, it's like, how am I still alive? How am I still alive? The truth is, the reason I haven't had much of an online presence since 2022, 2023 is because I was just tired. Like, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like every single tired you can think of. Like, I was going through it. And in the spirit of being transparent, I have to admit to myself that I've allowed myself to be distracted by external things. Like, of course, there's an element of internal strife and internal struggle and things that I have to work through and have had to work through, and I'm still working through. But I did internalize like a lot of the things that happened to me these last couple of years, and I just didn't have the energy to do anything anymore. Not just that, but everything kind of felt pointless, you know? I kind of lost my purpose for a minute, but I'm inspired again by life. I'm reinvigorated, I'm feeling revitalized, and I can finally admit that even though I've been beaten black and blue, I'm not broken. I didn't fucking die. I'm still here. And I have a lot of fire left in me. It's kind of like that meme of Miley Cyrus at the Bangers tour, where she was like, "I'm back, motherfuckers! These motherfuckers really tried to kill me. They tried to kill your favorite bitch, but I'm not going down without a motherfucking fight." Like, that's really what it's giving. I think, though, that's a perfect way to segue into today's topic, which is mortality. And I know it sounds morbid, but lately I've been thinking a lot about legacy and like what I'd like to leave behind. And I don't know, I'm just contemplating what it means to even be alive and what it means to even exist or not exist anymore. And sometimes I do panic about not doing enough and not living up to my potential because I feel like not just as an artist, but as a person, I haven't even scratched the surface of everything I'm capable of, you know? And even though I'm proud of what I've done with counterculture and watercolor, my mixtape and EP that I released in 2020 and 2021, respectively, I still feel like there's so much more that I have left to say. And I think that's something I struggle with constantly. How much do I share? How transparent should I be? How much tea can I spill? Like, it's hard to open up sometimes because Contrary to popular belief, I am an introvert. Like, a big misconception people have about me is that I'm an extrovert because I'm so charismatic and, you know, I have the gift of gab or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not. Like, I'm a really private person, and, you know, that's kind of ironic because I still aspire towards becoming a public figure, but I really do value my privacy, and I do like, you know, my solitude and, you know, keeping things to myself because some things are personal and sacred, and not everyone needs to be in my business. But I don't know, I guess a part of me is afraid of putting myself out there and being perceived a particular way. Because open up about certain things and being vulnerable naturally exposes me up to all sorts of critiques, which is nerve wracking. Like, maybe it's the Virgo in me who's like really type A and OCD about certain things. So having control of literally everything I put out is important to me. Like, I just like being able to curate, I guess, my image in a very particular way. And I spend a lot of time thinking about my aesthetic and things that align with my brand. So if something isn't as glossy or glamorous or aesthetically pleasing or conventionally attractive or not as perfect as I'd like them to be, then that's when I overthink and I second guess and I doubt and get in my head and not post because I don't want to be judged. I don't. But when I think about it, like, am I being honest? Like, is that image that I'm portraying actually authentically me? Or is it a big production, you know? But I also have to be honest with myself. I do like a big production. I like when things are, you know, polished. And it's not to say that things that are DIY don't have their time and place, because they're just as valuable and credible and worthy of recognition as things that are polished. But I do love high gloss. You know, I do love things that have a big production value, and it's annoying sometimes because I don't always have like the budget, or a big budget I should say. Like, I don't have a big team behind me. It's just me doing everything on my own. And, you know, credit is due to all the artists that I've collaborated with over the years and who I have a good relationship with, thankfully. But the ideas that I bring to life are funded by me. No one's really helping me to like actualize them or anything. So it's hard. It's fucking hard. Like, when you don't come from like, you know, money or like a supportive background, like, you have to figure things out on your own. And it's for years, like, I've had to figure things out on my own. Like, I've had to learn through trial and error, and it's exhausting. Like, I was exhausted. And to be honest, I kind of still am. Like, even though I said earlier, I'm like reinvigorated. Like, that's true, but I'm also tired, like, all the time. Especially when you have to like balance like your own personal and professional relationships and like your family life and other, you know, things, errands that you have to run on your day basis. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And like, I don't know, from the last time I posted, I just felt like I needed a break, man. Like, I needed a break. And that break was supposed to be like a brief hiatus. And before I know it, it turned into like 2 or 3 fucking years. And like, I don't know, I kick myself when I think about all the things I could have accomplished in that time span, you know? Like, I do put pressure on myself. Like, I do look at people who are killing it right now in music, and they're amazing. Like, not taking anything away from them, but sometimes I do wish I could do that, or think to myself I should be doing that, or, you know, it's hard not to like compare. Like, I say this all the time, like, my deadliest sin is envy. You know, like, I'm envious of like other people who are, you know, in positions that I want to be in or aspire towards. And it's not like from a covetous place. Like, I'm not wishing them harm or ill, or, you know, think that they're not deserving, because I do think that they're deserving. And I'm so happy to see people succeed. You know, like, I want the best for everyone. Like, I'm happy, genuinely happy and pleased to see people win. Like, I'm rooting for literally everyone. Like, there's space for everyone and there's no competition. You know what I mean? Like, art is not, like, it's not a race to win or anything like that. But for me, it's like, I always feel, especially like right now, like I should be further along. Like, I deserve more, I deserve better. Like, I know I'm capable of more. You know what I mean? And I see people in positions and I'm like, you know, I can do that. And it's hard not to like get in your head sometimes when it's like you see people doing something that you think that you're also capable of, but you think you could do it better, but you're not allowing yourself to do it better because you just don't have the energy. And it's not like, it's not a skill issue, it's a will issue. You know what I mean? Like, you're just in your own way because you just don't have the energy. Or, I don't know. You know, I hope that makes sense. Like, I just get in my head sometimes, and I wish people understood what it was like to be me. And that's something that like I've had to contend with my entire life. Like, the idea of like being misunderstood, or like people not really putting the time or energy or effort into like getting me or understanding like what I have to deal with or go through, or like, you know, I don't know, put up with. And it's like not to undermine or undervalue or disrespect or not appreciate the people who are in my corner and do support me and, you know, do hold space for me. But I do feel like an underdog. I do feel like underrated. And I do feel like, you know, I'm always having to like prove myself and, you know, jump through hoops and like juggle a million different things all at once. And it's just like, enough. Enough. Like, I am enough. Like, I'm fucking enough. Why can't you see that? You know what I mean? And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Because when you have to contend with that for years, like, it does take a toll on you, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of the alleys, to be honest. And it's like one of the things that really like weighed heavily on me from around the time I put out, you know, my EP Watercolor to around like 2022 when I last posted on my socials, or was it 2023? Both. To know, like, I don't think people understand like how much this project, you know, Charlie Cashmere means to me. Because for me, it's like, it's not enough for me to just work a job like a regular 9 to 5 and then come home, like, you know, make my money and pay my bills. Like, that's not enough. Like, you can lose your job today, and it's like, what will you have to show for it? Where did all those years go? You know, like, will people know the impact that you had? You know, like, or are you just a number? Are you just an employee? You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's something I think about all the time. Like, I don't want to be just another like statistic or a number. Like, I need to be seen, like, and valued and appreciated for me as an individual. And not just that, but like, I need to leave something behind when I go, when I die. And it's hard to think about like death, but when you're surrounded by death all the time, and like you turn on the news and it's like people dying, and it's like, you know, carnage and chaos and violence, it's like, how can you not? How can you not? You know what I mean? And, you know, it's like, even now, like, when things feel so schizophrenic culturally, like, you want to make a name for yourself. You want to stand out. You want to be seen. You want to be heard. And that's what I want. Like, I want to be known, but not like famous for the sake of being famous. Like, I want to be understood as a person and as an artist. Like, I need to be seen. It's just the truth of it. That's important to me. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that stems from like like some childhood wound of like not being seen, or having to fight for attention, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like at this point in my life I have to like honor Charlie. You know what I mean? Like Charlie represents that part of me that demands to be seen. Like, of course, you could call him like a persona or an alter ego, but for me, I feel like he's an exaggerated version of me, Tico. Like, my actual name, in case you didn't know, but he's also like an amalgamation of all the things I long to say, to do, to experience, to express, and also my fears and my hopes and my aspirations and all of these things. And he is a vessel, he's a vehicle I use to drive my ideas. Like he's a funnel I process everything through, you know? And from from a macro perspective, like he's my way of like, I don't know, documenting my experiences, you know? And to phrase it a different way, like I sometimes, and I guess honestly other people, feel like Tico is a messy person. Like I can be chaotic, I can be complicated and contradictory, and Charlie is my way of taking away all the mess and just making it more palatable. I don't know if that's the right word, but easier to understand. Like he is the more curated version of me. Like, like he is more accessible. He's easier to understand. He's not as nebulous. And I guess I feel like when you speak in metaphors, sometimes people are more willing to hear what you have to say as opposed to like when you're like straightforward and you tell the truth. So I guess I created this persona, alter ego, art project, whatever you want to call it, to be more honest. Not just to other people, but mostly to myself. Like, I make art for me. Like, this is the music I want to listen to. Like, this is what I want to hear. This is what I want to see. So that's why it's important to me, because just to provide like some context, like 2024 is almost finished. And then it's like 2025, which is next 2 months from now, I guess you could say. And it's going to be such a significant year. Like, it will be 10 years since I came up with Charlie Cashmere, like, because I got the idea for him in like September of 2015. So 10 years since I came up with him in college. And it will be 5 years since my debut EP, Counterculture, which is also a big deal to me. And it will be the year I turn 29, next year, 2025. And I'm not sure if there are like any astrology girlies out there listening, but that's like the year of the Saturn return, and that's supposed to be like a pretty significant year, and I am excited for that. Like, I so look forward to it. But lately, I just feel it's important for me to document my experiences and reflect on and be honest about everything that's led me to this point. And even though I don't like the idea of using my social media platforms to vent or use it as my diary, I think it's, important to look back one day and be like, wow, you've come a long way, bitch. So, yeah, even though time is a construct, it's crazy to think that, like, I won't be a twink forever, and I'm actively aging, and I'm getting older, and this much closer to death. And, it's November 11th right now, a little after 2 in the morning, and I'm still up because I can't sleep, because I'm reflecting on, like, my legacy and, like, my contribution to the world, and, like, what's important to me. And honestly, I'm, like, freaked out. Like, genuinely freaked out over the idea that, like, no one knows me. Like, I don't feel like I'm known. Like, and I'm not talking about, like, known from, like, a celebrity point of view, or, like, I'm not talking about fame. Like, known. Like, do you know who I am? Do you know what my values are? do you know who I am as a person? Like, I don't feel known. Like I feel like a ghost most of the time. Like some apparition, some entity just like coasting through life. And it's like, of course, there are people who know me, but it's like, what do they know me for? Like, I don't want to be known as chaotic and messy and emotionally volatile all the time, which I feel like people perceive me to be. Like, I feel like people are so used to seeing that they don't realize that I'm also smart and kind and funny and sincere and earnest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a lot of things, but I do my best. I try my best to be honest and, loving and open to everything that comes my way. And yeah, I guess that's what I mean. Like, I'm thinking about my legacy. Like, if I were to die tomorrow, or die today, or die at the end of this recording, will I be like satisfied with what I've left behind? Like, what will I be eulogized for? You know what I mean? And it's like, when I die, I don't want to be mourned. I want to be celebrated. Like, I want, of course, it would be nice to be missed profoundly, but it's like, I want the memories people to have of me to be like pleasant and positive and like, I want to have an impact on other people, and I want to like influence people and, just remind them that life is worth living and their life does have value. And it's like, I just don't want to live a shallow existence. You know what I mean? Like, this can't be all there is. Like, there has to be something bigger than this. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know that there's something bigger than me. Like, I know that there is, a God, and like there is like a divine plan for my life. But it's like, to be honest, I do want to be part of something bigger. Like, I really don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, the only way I know how is to tell my story and to make art and to write songs. But it's like, I just feel like there's just some things that I have to say because there's someone that has to hear it to know that I was here and I matter and I deserve to be here and I have a right to exist. And by me saying that, it will validate their experiences and remind them that they deserve to be here and they have a right to exist. You know what I mean? And with everything going on right now, socially and politically, I feel like now is the time to tell my story. Now is the time to make art. Now is the time to make music. I have to keep being honest about my feelings. I have to stay hopeful, even when I'm hurt, because my resilience might impact, excuse me, and inspire someone who's scared and queer and feeling hopeless. Like, that's who I'm writing for. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just a vessel. And like, I don't know, like, I just miss being creative. I miss world building. I miss telling stories. Like, I want to get back to like who I was when I was like fucking 16, 17, and just inspired by life all the time and like really passionate about art. I want to be who I was when I was like in the middle of the pandemic, right? Making music, producing, reaching out to people on like Reddit and Tumblr to collaborate with so I could like release counterculture. Like, I want to be the person I was when I was coming up with treatments for music videos. You know what I mean? Like, that was when I felt most myself, most alive. And I don't know, it's like, what happened to make me give up on myself? Like, I don't think I gave up on myself, obviously, because I'm still here, but I just got distracted. Like, something happened at some point, like, to make me just live life on autopilot and just numb myself. And like, I guess I was just like overwhelmed by everything that was going going on that like I just shut my brain off, but like I want to like be like I don't know, like I yes, I want to be I want to be like but also I want to just connect with people and like just I don't know, like be a part of something. Like I want to create a community because I never really felt a part of anything, to be honest. Like I've always been like coasting through, like as I said, making things up as I go along, figuring things out through trial and error. And I've always felt out of place in so many ways. So it would be nice to like create my own little community of like-minded individuals who are into the same things and have the same references and are inspired by the same people and things and places and you know like I don't know. It just sometimes I get sad and depressed when I think about like I don't know, not having done enough yet. Like of course I'm doing the best I can with like the tools and resources available to me, but it's like sometimes it just doesn't feel fair that like other people are just, you know, just supported by other people and like they have a community and they have, people that they can count on to like lift them up, and it's like, I don't know, like I don't always feel like people are in my corner, you know what I mean? But I have to be in my corner. And I have to remind myself that what I am doing is important, even if no one else sees it yet. But, like, I don't know, like, I listen to my music all the time. And I'm like, wow, this is genius. I am genius. This is brilliant. And it's not like arrogant or, it's not from an egotistical place. It's just like, wow, you did that. Like, you created this from nothing. I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just, I want to keep creating work that makes me feel that way. And, I want to like someone to listen to it and feel that way. And it's hard not to get in my head sometimes when I'm like, okay, I should be further along in my career. But I also have to remind myself that like I am exactly where I need to be. And I'm here because I'm learning lessons that are necessary and need to be learned. Um, but yeah, it does get depressing sometimes. But it's funny because like I saw a tweet a while back that said intelligent people tend to be more depressed, and people with depression tend to score higher in tests of realism. And so there's this correlation between intelligence and depression. And as we know, depression often leads to suicide, which is more common among people with high IQs, because when the mind understands too much about reality, it wants to destroy itself. And so human life is like existential horror. And honestly, I felt that. Like, I felt that so hard. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we do live in a simulation and it does freak me out and triggers like an existential crisis like when I think about it too hard, because if I think about the implications, it's like if this is a simulation then it's just me. Or like there's just some like nothing around me is real and it's just me in my head, and maybe there's like some omnipotent being who's in control of everything, like some AI, you know, divine being or something who's like simulating all of this and none of this is real. And then it's like, okay, if you just plug out the machine, what happens to me? And it freaks me out. It freaks me out all the time. Like, it's weird because, like, I do believe in, like, consciousness and sentience and, like, I have had experiences on like psilocybin mushrooms where like it reminds me that we're all like connected and everything is interconnected, and when we die we all return to the source. And I've had some really profound experiences, not gonna lie. And I do know that there is like life after death. Like, of course, I've not experienced it, but I've had like near death experiences, and it's just it's trippy to think about. You know what I mean? Like, it's so trippy to think about. Like, I can remember like two experiences specifically. Like, I remember one when I was like 21, when like I thought I was taking ecstasy, MDNA, um, which in hindsight probably wasn't, but I was like taking it. Like, it was basically, it was like Home Alone. And no, that's a lie. Sorry. I like, if I'm doing anything recreationally, I usually am alone. Like, if I'm doing like smoking weed or you know doing shrooms, like I'm home alone. But that particular time, I was like home with my family. But it was night, so everyone was asleep. So I took it in bed, and I'm listening to music, like high energy music, just to vibe and everything is cool and everything. But at one point, like my heart starts to race, and I'm like, okay, this is weird, but let me just like, go with the flow. It's whatever. And I remember I was listening to like a Gaga song, like Lady Gaga. I don't remember what it was, and it started to freak me out because anyone who knows me knows I'm like a little monster. I've been a fan since 2009, seen her through the fame till right now, where I'm like anxiously awaiting LG7. But that's besides the point. Something about that particular song felt inauthentic and contrived and fake, and it freaked me out because I was like, what? Everything felt like a lie, and so like I started to panic. So me being me, I was like, let me go into the bathroom and try to take a shower. So I'm there in like the shower, like feeling the water, but my mind is racing, my heart is racing, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, panicking. Like, I felt like I was on the verge of death, for real. And I'm in there for who knows how long, but something I've learned through my experiences on shrooms is like, whenever I'm stuck in a thought loop, it helps to like remind myself of objective facts, like things that I know to be true. Like, my name is Tico. My birthday is September 16th. I live in Jamaica. I am male. Things like that, things that I can confirm. Otherwise, you know, I'll, spiral. So it helps to be grounded and stay rooted in reality for sure. So I was doing that in the shower, trying to like remind myself of things that are factual. Like, I am in the shower, I am, getting wet, things like that. And it was working until it wasn't. And then I started to panic again. And before I knew it, like, there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. It's my mom. She asked me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And then suddenly, like, my mind starts racing again, like, oh my God, what if I die in the shower? Like, nobody will know me. Like, I need to come out. You know what I mean? I need to share my truth. Um, and by that I meant, like, I need to, like, tell my folks that I'm gay. And so I'm there trying to think of a strategy, and I'm like trying to like, encourage myself that this is the right thing to do. Because if I die, nobody will know anything about me that, I wasn't honest. So eventually I turn off the shower and I step out and I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I need to tell you something. And then I'm like, call Daddy as well. I need to tell him something as well. And, my dad was there as well. So both of them are there in front of me. And before I know it, I'm just like, So I took a drug. I'm in the bathroom. I think I'm overdosing. By the way, I'm gay. It was crazy. Like it was a crazy moment for sure. Um, so yeah, like I remember. I guess my dad left because he couldn't handle it, and my mom and I were just like talking about everything on the floor, and like I was just like venting. Like the drug forced me to like tell truths. Eventually, my dad came home, but I don't think it was the gay thing because to this day he's like supportive, you know. Um, but just the fact that like your child could die, like of course that was a lot to handle, I'm sure. Um, so yeah, that was a crazy time, near death experience. But I'm glad for it because it did force me to come out, which I appreciate. So that was one experience that I had. Um, Another near-death experience I had also involved recreation, no drugs, but this time was an edible. Like I was hanging out with a friend. Like we booked a hotel together on the north coast, and we were there for a few days. And he had like an edible. I think it was like 50 grams. It was like candy, basically. And the last day, like I used to take like 25 grams, like, because I've never really had like a positive experience on edibles. Like they always like, I don't know, like it's crazy. So I don't do them often, but on the last day I was like, let me take 50. Um, so I had to take like this bus, which was like the Knutsford Express, which is like the equivalent of a Greyhound bus to go from Montego Bay to Kingston. Um, and then I had this grand idea to like take the edible while I was on the bus. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, okay, this will help me relax and vibe because it was like a 3 hour ride, right? Um, so I'm there, everything is fine. And then I remember I was listening to a Lana Del Rey song. I think it was Let the Light In from her most recent album. Did you know there was a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard? And I swear, like it was like engaging with the divine. Like I visually saw God in my head while I was listening. My eyes were closed. I was listening to the song, and it's like this bright white light, or was it golden? It was a bright light, and it was amazing. And there was this time where, like, honestly, when I was listening, the bus was like stalling, and basically, what happened was the bus was at like a rest stop or something, and it was just waiting on like passengers to like embark or disembark or whatever. And my eyes are closed and my head is pressed against the window, and it's vibrating because it's not moving, but it's just sitting there waiting. And out the blue, like I hear the booming voice of the driver on the intercom, and it freaks me out because it sounded demonic. And like I start to like low key panic, and then I try to like you know relax, but it's not working. And of course, at that point, the driver was telling us like we're about to leave, but it sounded like deep, like his voice was like a deep baritone, so it was very daunting and foreboding. So we're there driving, and like I'm there like feeling my heart race, and I can't stop it. And so I started to freak out. And so I don't remember what it was, but I had like something in my hand and it fell. I think it was a bottle. And I'm like bending down, like leaning over to like get it, and there's someone next to me. And like I'm trying to like get the bottle, but also not to draw attention to myself because I was like moving really weird. And so I eventually get the bottle up, but I still feel more anxious than ever. So I turn to the person next to me and I'm like, excuse me, I need to get up. So I get up and I'm walking to go to the bathroom or something, which is downstairs because it's like a double-decker bus. So I'm going downstairs, and each step I take, my heart is like racing, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, something isn't right. So I get the bright idea to walk in the direction of the driver. And I'm like, hello, excuse me, sorry, but you need to stop the bus. I need to get off the bus. I took an edible and I'm freaking out. And he's like looking at me like I have three heads. And he's like, no, I can't stop the bus. We have to go to our destination. And I'm like, please, you don't understand. I'm literally about to die. Like, please let me off the bus. And he's like, sorry, no, we have to go straight to Kingston. So I'm like, oh God, I'm on my own here. So I turn around and there are like passengers staring at me like I have three heads. And I'm just like, please, can someone explain to him that I need to get off the bus? I took a drug and I'm having a bad reaction, please. And people are just staring at me. Nobody's moving. And basically, I I'm like, oh my god, I'm on my own. So I go into the bathroom and I'm on the floor, but like I don't want the door to be closed. So I put my foot in like the door jam, I guess, and I'm on the floor. Because I know if the door closes, I probably won't know how to open it, and I'm gonna freak out and panic and die. So I I'm on the floor, and I I'm trying to get myself to throw up because I'm like, okay, I need to like get this out my system. So I'm like making myself throw up, vomiting, reaching over to the sink to drink some water, to put something in my system, like have water in me so I can vomit some more, and then repeating the process of like making myself throw up. And then I'm like, oh my god, I need to like call my family, I need to tell everyone that like, you know, that I love them, just in case like this is, the moment where, you know, just in case this is the moment where I die. Um, so yeah, I'm calling my dad. Like I called my dad first. I was like, Daddy, you need to help me. Like, can you pick me up? I'm having like a bad reaction to this drug. And he's like freaking out. He's like, why would you do that? Like, are you crazy? And I'm like, Daddy, just please just meet me at the terminal. And he's like, he's at work. He can't do that. But he'll try. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And then I call my best friend and like, I'm like, hi girl, hey, took this drug, having a bad experience. Just want to say I love you, XOXO. And, you know, I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, so I'm like sending, my brothers and my sisters and my grandma and my aunts and everyone who's like important to me a voice note, just letting them know that I love them and I'm looking forward to seeing them again and um, all those nice things. Because in my head, like just reaching out to them was a way to stay grounded and it gave me something to look forward to, you know, and that was important to me. Just to know A, that they knew that I loved them, and B, that I had something to look forward to. So I couldn't die on this bus because I still had life to live and experiences to make. So yes, I was on in the bathroom for I don't know how long. You see, like there's like a common thread between me overdosing and being in bathrooms, hilarious. But yeah, so eventually, like I could feel myself coming back to reality and like calming down and feeling more sober. Um, and in the moment, like I was just focused on surviving and making it through the experience. And looking back, I'm kind of glad nobody intervened because I had to learn that only I can save myself. You know what I mean? It was an exercise in like self-reliance and trusting myself and like, believing that I could make it through, and I did, and for that I'm thankful. Um, but yeah, I've had some really weird experiences, like near-death experiences, like car crashes. I've had like two. Um, Drownings, near drownings. I've had two of those. It's interesting that things come in like series of twos for me. Very, very interesting. Maybe that's a lucky number, I know. But I'm just glad that I like survived those experiences. Um, but it's hard to conceptualize dying or not existing. It's hard to like think of a time before my existence, so it's hard to visualize a time where I won't exist. Like I'm more freaked out about my loved ones dying than, me dying. Like of course I still want to live and be alive, but I don't know. Like for instance, when I was little and like didn't hear from my dad for hours, like I would panic and pray that he was okay, and I'd call him to check, like you know, things like that. Things like it's just I it death is weird. Death is weird. Death is so weird, and like I get emotional when I think about my loved ones not being around anymore. Like it's surreal. It's really surreal. It scares me, even though I know that, everything will be okay in the end and we all return to the source. Like, I don't know, like, I still find value in life and I want the people I love to still be around to experience things with and witness life with me, you know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard not to think about, you know, how much time that you have left with your loved ones, how much time they have left with you. And I don't know, it's crazy. And like, I'll never take life for granted. Like, of course, there will be moments where like I'll think about like suicide or whatever, but it's like, I don't think like I ever want to really kill myself. It's just I don't want to live the life I'm living, you know what I mean? Like, it's not so much that I want to annihilate myself, but it's just I want circumstances to change. Like, because life is delicious. I love life, and life is an experience that I never want to take for granted. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to exist. And life is short. Who knows how long I'm here for? But however long it is, I just want to remind people that life is worth living. And I want to remind them that they are loved fiercely, fully, and without condition. And I don't know, I guess that's just a sample of what's been on my mind lately. You know what I mean? Especially since I've been obsessively listening to The Great Impersonator by Halsey. It's just such a brilliant album. Like, so profound, so profound. I love that album. It's so deep, so thoughtful, so introspective, so reflective, so honest and vulnerable and raw and real. And truthfully, that's the kind of art I aspire and intend to make myself. Um, but yeah, like, it's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Like, I'm sure there's much more I could discuss, but that's just gonna leave it there for now. So thanks for tuning into 20 somethings, and I'll see you soon. Bye.